Today we are checking out Love Bites for the very first time. I've received a lot of requests to check out and analyze this band, so I'm excited to get into it. This will be part one of a 6-song marathon. So today we're going to check out the songs Holy War live, Judgment Day music video, and Break the Wall live. If you'd like to join me early for part 2, where I cover the songs Soldier Stands Solitarily live, Where's Identity audio, and Set the World on Fire live, join me on Patreon. The early access link is in the description. If you don't know me, my name is Oha Cade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Valkada. We recently put out a song called Overload the Reactor. The link is also down below. I'd love to hear what you think. Without further ado, let's get right into this first song, Holy War. This seems to be their most popular song, at least from what I could see. So I thought this would be a good one to start with. Let's go. That's a really nasty riff. Like into a verse, it seems. Wow. What a vocalist. Okay. I'm just going to pause right there and give my thoughts so far. So the skill and musicianship on display is insane. So the guitarists are Midori and Miyako, Haruna on drums, Asami on vocals, and Fami on bass. So as I said, I've gotten a lot of requests for this group, and since I've read so many comments about them, I did have some idea of what to expect, and I did know that they were leaning towards power metal, or at least for some songs. This song is clearly a power metal track, at least to my ears. I didn't expect, though, for the instrumentation to be so virtuosic. You know, this is almost a Dragon Force level of intricacy, and it's even debatable whether Dragon Force themselves can play as well as this live, this sort of difficult material. Everything is so crisp, so tight, you know, sweepy guitar fills, and Haruna has the not so enviable responsibility of keeping up with the double bass the entire way through. Crazy stamina, and what a vocalist Asami. Like, power metal really needs a powerful vocalist that has their technique in order, and she is really blowing me away right here. They are playing within a very traditional framework. Like I said, I can clearly hear the Dragon Force influence. I'm hearing Rhapsody of Fire. You know, if we go the Japanese route, I'm hearing Galnerius. So at the moment, I'm not hearing anything that would make them like unique in terms of the sound. That is perfectly fine, though, if this is the style of music that they specialize in, and this is the style of music that they execute perfectly well. That's great. But I am interested to see if this is the sound that they are rigidly known for, or if once we listen to some of the other tracks, there will be some variety, either genre-wise or in some other way. Let's keep it going. I like how that main riff sounds a little darker than the rest of the song. That's good dynamics. Damn. Love it. The drum pattern has changed here to give more impact to the solo as well. Wow. Very rare that you see two equally competent lead guitarists facing off. Amazing. I'm amazed. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was just amazing. Really loved the solo section, and once again, Asami's vocals blowing my mind as well. Fami on bass, this is not a type of style, in my opinion, that favors the bass so much. I honestly, couldn't pay attention to what the bass was doing at all. So I do apologize for that, and I may have limited comments on the bass throughout this marathon if every song is like this. But like that guitar solo section blew my mind. The vocals blew my mind. This genre is not what I would really normally listen to in extended bursts, but I do like experiencing a song like this here and there. Like the progressions and the melodies and everything are a little predictable just for my taste. So while the spectacle of their ability and their fast playing, the masterful vocal technique, I can sort of sit here and go, wow. But generally I like my music to have some more expected moments. What I will say though, at least within the power metal genre, what does make them more unique is the core songwriting ability. So even if I find, like, for example, the lead vocal melody to be a little bit predictable, it's still really solid. It's not a weak vocal melody. The guitar solos have a beautiful musicality. It's not pure shredding. There are some beautiful, like, melodic licks and stuff. So musically, it's very appealing. It's not just technicality and shredding. They have a really solid, and I would say also compact songwriting approach. Like, I feel like a lot of these shreddy songs, at least in other bands, they do tend to drag and they extend sections out for way too long. But I thought this song was the perfect length, and I got my perfect fill of what they were offering. In looking at the lyrics, they're pretty typical power metal fare. You know, we are the metal warriors, fighting the darkness for sisters and brothers. Though there might be some sort of religious aspect to this song, like the song is called Holy War. There's a mention of Satan. Into the gates of hell we march, though it does refer to the god of metal rather than God himself. So it might just be hinting at religious imagery a bit, not really getting at something explicitly religious. It's more fighting for the spirit of metal, and we can all get behind that. Let's move on to the next song. This is the official music video for Judgment Day, and I believe this is from their most recent full-length album, released around 2023, if I'm correct. Yeah, let's see how this sounds. Already quite a different vibe, so I like it. Wow. So catchy. Straight back into the verse again. Love the production. Chorus. What a chorus. Insane. Sorry to pause in the middle of the solo. I have to pause it at some point. This is a really good second song to experience from them. It shows me that while they do have a baseline style that they're known for, this speedy power metal, there is variety in the tone between these two songs. This song is noticeably darker and more sinister sounding than the other song, which was going for a more hopeful, empowering feeling, which is fitting because the title is Holy War. It's about, hyping people up to go fight. This one, it's called Judgment Day, and it sounds a bit more like the apocalypse. Like there's a little bit less hope in this situation, and there's more of a reason to be afraid. It's more imposing. And that's achieved by the particular scales and modes that they're exploring here. There's a completely different chord progression in this song, and the vocal melody in the chorus is very distinct. That's what I like. I like a distinct vocal melody in the chorus, and generally the way this song moves I find to be a little bit less predictable and far more thrilling than the first song. That's just my personal taste. This song is also leaning more into symphonic metal, I'd say, than the first song. Symphonic metal is pretty much my favorite genre, so naturally I would tend to like this one quite a bit. I want to pay my compliments to individual members, but it's difficult because the song moves very quickly and every member feels indispensable at every moment. So I'm not really getting like highlights, except for naturally Asami's parts and the dual guitars between Midori and Miyako. That must be Midori because I read that she's also like a a fitness guru, and this lady looks pretty jacked to me, and I'm assuming this is Miyako. Both equally proficient on the instrument, at least from what I can tell, not being a guitarist myself. But yeah, let's go back and experience this juicy solo again. The drum fills during that little descent were nuts as well. I love the orchestral details under the solo as well. Not to be neglected, the orchestral work is really beautiful. Excellent support. Listen to that hi-hat. A little bit of funk coming in. Excellent accents for the solo. Tension rising. I'm sold. I'm sold. I wanted to give it 2 songs, but I can tell you I'm officially sold. I don't know how they perform songs like this live every night. Love it. Sheesh. Going back to, I guess, the prologue. So after hearing that song and getting more of a picture of what they're about, I think this may be the most impressive power metal band I've heard in many years. It's not just the proficiency of their instruments, but it's the solid songwriting. It doesn't matter how fast you can play if the songwriting and core composition isn't strong at the foundation, but their foundation is spectacular, as evidenced, like I said, by the way the orchestra was supporting the solo underneath. There's a really good sense of tension and release in this song. It's intense, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't get monotonous, at least not to me. And, you know, it's only the second song in the 6-song marathon. Maybe by the end of the marathon, my ears will get tired, but so far I'm absolutely living for this. I'm totally gagged. I cannot believe it's taken me this long to get around to them. Only thing I'd say is really just want to know what the bass is up to. Maybe we'll get some moments for Bami to pop out. I would say the bass, for most metal groups, the bass is the instrument that I have the hardest time noticing, since there's so much else going on in the arrangement. But perhaps that is the beauty of what Bami does, adding heft and beef to the arrangement. without necessarily needing to take the spotlight. The lyrics for Judgment Day seem to be about Judgment Day. Maybe some semi-religious stuff. There's a mention of sin, right or wrong. But honestly, I still feel like these lyrics are sort of typical power metal, where like they're aiming for a general sense of urgency, power, epicness, really, evoking epicness with a general theme. But I can't get at what exactly the song is about, apart from some general musings about Judgment Day. So my honest opinion is that these lyrics are just really not that deep. They're more about serving the epic feeling of the song, but it's hard for me to tell sometimes with translations to English from the original language. Do they sing in English? I don't think they do, right? But I didn't recognize the language at the time as being English, so I assume this is a translation. We'll see once we look at Break the Wall. We're moving on to the last song of part 1 now, which is Break the Wall live. Again, if you'd like to join me early for part 2, where I check out the songs Soldier Stands Solitarily, Where's Identity, and Set the World on Fire, you can find the early access link to my Patreon in the description. Let's get into Break the Wall. This one is very Metallica sounding, very thrashy. They do sing in English. Really enjoying this song too. I like that each of the 3 songs like has its own atmosphere. This one is really taking inspiration more from thrash metal. High attitude. Lots of dissonance in the guitars. Okay. You know what? I was going to pause it there, but I paused during the solo the last time, so I don't want to annoy people too much before I start yapping. Let's enjoy the solos before I start yapping. Going down low there, really nice touch. I feel this is a more appropriate time to pause. Another fantastic tune. One other thing I think they're really good at is maintaining a nice groove in the sound. So it's not just pure double bass blast beats the whole time, but we are getting a little bit of like funk here and there. Largely thanks to Haruna's drumming, which is this part right here. Let me see if I can find it. Those syncopated cymbals, right? Makes you want to groove. There's a really aggressive push and pull to it. then the triplet descent. So fun. Let's keep this one going. Most subdued moment in their music so far. I don't really count the prologue of the last song. I'm not even sure if the prologue of the last song is even really in the studio version. Damn, very abrupt transition, but super fun. I have to see them live. I have to. They really know what a good riff is and when to let the riff rock. Like this moment right here. I can't imagine what the mosh pit must have been like here. Damn. Love it, love it. This performance is like bringing tears to my eyes. I get emotional when I hear like really good music. It doesn't have to be a sad song, but it can just be really, really good. Aggressive music too, that makes me emotional. Literally, not a single dull moment. And I loved that ending too. So that song was also fantastic. Pure entertainment the whole way through. Everyone absolutely murdering their parts. If there was any flub or a misnote here and there, I certainly didn't hear it. With this one, I especially liked the focus just on a pure, like, heavy riff. That extended part after the melodic solo was so awesome. So they know exactly when to go hard, when to go easy. The song is also a reasonable length for a thrash metal song, only 5 minutes. They get to the point, they keep you engaged, the energy is always exactly where it needs to be. So I consider them to be a really awesome new discovery. I think really my only reservation with them was with the first song, because it leaned so heavily into, I guess, traditional power metal tropes. My opinion is that the second two songs are stronger than the first one, though I can see how like the spectacle of the first one is a good intro to people who have never heard them before. The lyrics for this one give me the impression of someone who is imprisoned, maybe for a crime, and who just want to get out and break the wall and live their life. You know, it could represent someone who feels stuck in their life in a metaphorical way, figurative way. That's pretty much what the song is getting at, and the music communicates that intensity, that desire to be free very well. There is the line, "Who's the one that did it? Deadly venom eating me inside." Maybe hinting that this person was framed. Maybe the song is tied to some OST that I don't know about. Let me know. I'm excited to get into part 2 now. Again, if you'd like to join me for part 2, the early access link to my Patreon is down below. Otherwise, let me know what you think of these songs and what you thought of my analysis. Again, if you don't know me, my name is Ohakade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Valkada. We recently put out a new song called Overload the Reactor. The link is also down below. I'd love to hear what you think. And there is also a link to my full reaction database spreadsheet if you're curious about all of the other music I've covered on the channel. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much and take care.